You're welcome back. And in this last segment, less than some 30 minutes, George Sapong is Executive Secretary, National Media Commission, NMC. They issued a statement condemning what happened to UTV and also sought to make some intervention to see what will happen. As we understand, it does appear they have done something very good in that direction. Manasseh Azure-Awene, award-winning journalist presently at Harvard University, for a journalism fellowship. And congratulations to you, Manasseh, once again, because we have seen in the international wires that you have been named for a number of awards globally. Sylvester Tete is still here with us. MP George Ricketts Hagan is also still here. And Bobby Banson is also still with us. Now, let me go straight to Mr. George Sapong. Thank you very much for making time to join us, sir. We don't have him yet. Hello, Manasseh.
Hello, Samson.
Right. So the NPP and its members have a right, don't they, that a media entity is doing an entertainment program and they feel that the discussion is becoming slanted politically over a period, and they have issued a letter asking that it should be balanced. They should be giving opportunity. And then that letter, one of the discussants, A+, in the public glare on that show, tears up the letter. They say that is justification for what they did. What do you say?
I say it isn't. There is nothing that justifies they going in there to try to force them to do what they want. I have done a piece on it, and I said that the party, NPP, had the right, and what they did that could be justified was to write to that media house to complain because they expected some fairness from that media organization. The media organization should have also distanced itself from whoever sat on TV and tore the letter. Every media organization operates to satisfy an audience, and the NPP members are audience or part of the audience of the UTV. And so you have to take it, whether you accept it or not. It is feedback. You can always argue or even decide to ignore it. But they have the right to approach you and tell you their grievances.
You have issued a letter, Manasseh, you have issued a letter, and it's circulating on social media, and the panelist has a copy of it. He prints it out, he goes on the show and says, this is my response, and he tears it in protest. What's wrong with that? And you say they should have done what to him?
I am not saying that. If somebody comes on your show and does that, you will distance yourself from that action. It does not represent the action of the media house. And that is why I'm saying, even if it was the presenter who tore the letter, there was no justification for attacking. But I'm only making a point that as media people, as journalists, media houses, we operate, or if nobody is listening to this show, next week there won't be Newsfile. So you are there because of your audience. If your audience have concerns, you will take it, tell them where they are wrong. If their concerns have any merit, you accept it, but you are not obliged to take it. But what I'm saying is that this does not justify in any way the decision by members of the party to go to that media house. You have no right. Your right is only to complain and then draw the attention of the station to your grievances. But that is where it ends.
Members of the Inky fraternity, I have not heard from you yet. I read your piece. I'm not sure if I finished it up because I disagreed with some of your points, and it's good because me and my clients, we disagree. That's fine. But why do you think it is fair and justified the way the GJA and media practitioners have attacked the information minister, for example, about he saying that at the end of his statement that the media should promote a certain sense of national unity of sorts?
Obviously, I also read Mr. Opon Nkrumah's statement, and sincerely, I do not see the justification for the attacks he has received. One, I think he should be commended for reporting to the police. That ministry reported to the police, and I read the police statement, which also said they received a report from the information ministry to act on the matter. So I think that, in my view, should have been a commendation to the Minister of Information. I'm one of those very critical of this government and its handling of the press or media freedom. But if you have an information minister who reports an action of his own party members, and the police have confirmed this, I think he should be commended. And I don't see anything wrong. He did not justify the attack. It is only fair as a journalist. I have also made a statement that says, look, we are fallible and we are bound to, or we should accept feedback, whether positive or negative. We are not bound by the feedback, but you cannot, there are certain things that other media houses do that you, Samson, will not accept on this your show. There are certain things that are said on that program that when they say it on your show, you will either distance yourself or you subject certain people to strict proof.
Right.
So I don't think it is out of place for a minister of information to say that, well, let us use the media
Manasseh, of course, there are people on this platform. I have insisted, unless they abide by our rules, I will not host them on this show. So they've been blacklisted. I mean, including whoever you want to call the most powerful. But I think the GJA and other media persons, their concern is that when wrong is done, that is not when the government representative in the information minister will be preaching sort of be responsible.
Well, I don't think that, but for this information, the information minister has always been saying it, and I didn't see any form of justification or linkage. And in this case, I am not harsh on the information minister because the action that was taken, which has been confirmed by the police, that this person says NPP people are at this station doing ABC that is wrong, go and get them. The police went in and arrested them. He has condemned the attacks, but for me, and as you have also alluded,
the GJ has a problem that the statement does not condemn the attack.
Well, I don't see any better condemnation than asking the police to get in and arrest them.
But again, the police statement doesn't attribute the report to only the information minister.
Yes, but the police statement also mentions that.
That's correct.
Unless of course, we have reason to doubt what the police brought up. Because when I first saw the information ministry statement, I doubted. When I saw the police statement, and the police statement said the information ministry asked us or also reported on this matter. And we know what happens when party people are involved in this country.
Right.
And so for me, the government cannot always be wrong. The GJA or whoever wants to take on the information minister, they have the right to do that. We can disagree. But for me, the most important thing now is the ministry saw something wrong with that action. The ministry called the police to go in and effect arrest.
Right. Manasseh,
So
what's your expectation? What's your expectation after the police said they have arrested 16 people?
My expectation is that these people would go be taken through the legal process, and then justice will be served. I cannot say they should be jailed or whatever. It will depend on the evidence that is taken to court. But I have very little confidence in the police service to act appropriately on these matters when the government of the day is involved. There are so many examples in the past that seems to erode whatever confidence some of us may have.
Thank you. Hold on. Let me go to George Sapong, who is the Executive Secretary of the National Media Commission. Thank you very much, George, for making time to join us once again. So you also issued a statement quite immediately after the development, and you said that the National Media Commission is concerned about the reported attacks on UTV and is working with the Ghana Police Service to address the situation. The Commission is concerned about the increasing use of violence as a preferred method for addressing grievances against the media and journalists. So you said you are concerned and you are working with the police to address the situation. What will be the update? People have been expecting to hear from the police say that people have been taken to court.
Okay, we are collaborating with the police on this. We are also gathering information that we hope to share with the police as we go on. So we have already met with some managers of UTV, including one of the producers, actually 2 producers who were on the show on the day, who suffered directly from the attack.
Suffered directly from the attack. How, sir?
They were on duty, and they were some of the people who were attacked. Isaac actually jokes about it, about how one of them almost carried him like a baby and threw him somewhere in order to have access to the studio. Somehow, let me say that as traumatized as they are putting a very brave face to it, sometimes making a joke, but they are strongly concerned about all of us working to address this problem. Okay. And I think there is an angle to the problem that we need to look at. I said this to UTV when I met them. If you recall, one of the most dastardly attacks on media under the Fourth Republic, very early in the life of the Constitution, was what, please excuse the language in public, what we all refer to as the shit bombing of Kweku Baako's offices. At the time, all of us were outraged, first about the dirtiness of it and the attack. But even then, the perpetrators stole through the night to do this because they were afraid to own up for this really terrible behavior. So if people walk into a studio, broad daylight, in broad light, but also know that the cameras are on and do not fear to be captured on television, and also make the kinds of claims that they make, it should suggest to you that we are getting into an area that perhaps we need to change tactics in terms of how we address these issues. And I'm happy that all of you are treating it very seriously.
I was going to ask you that, of course, you have, as the NMC, have been part of some of these things, helping to mediate and resolve them. But should it be a process that is resolved as in amicably and ended there? Should that be what it should be? And I'm asking because of the benefits that I also have. Presently, and I've said this publicly already, Joy News's former news guy here at Joy FM, Emmanuel Ante, he was brutally assaulted by NPP members while he was covering their demonstration at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle after the 2012 disputed elections. Ima has since suffered, and one medical treatment after the other has not helped. He couldn't work any longer, and as we speak, he struggles to survive. We had Nana Komia, Oboche Sai Kofi, Elizabeth Ohene, and the rest lead a delegation to the premises of Joy FM and actually went public on the TV to apologize and say nothing will happen again. And then they promised to help the gentleman, but they left him. They've not given him a dime since then. I am in court now defending one journalist also here who was brutalized at the police premises, Latif Idris. The truth of the matter is that Latif is struggling to defeat premature death because of that attack on him. So when I hear that as an attempt to settle, the officers have gone to Peace FM, they have spoken, I feel that may not be sufficient. What do you say?
I completely agree with you. I think that's something we've gotten to that point where a certain directness should be our approach. And I think that is the sense in which people like you, Manasseh, and the rest, I give you a lot of credit for your courage in speaking out very early on these issues. At the National Media Commission, we have come to the conclusion that we've tried mediation in these matters. It has not helped the individuals. It has not helped the society. It has not helped the profession. It has also not changed behaviors. And therefore, all of us need to change approach. I strongly believe that anybody who is involved in these things ought to be punished. But beyond that, it's also the bigger question that you raise about how do we address the peculiar needs of victims of attacks. One of the most painful realities in this job is that, Samson, if you look around the world, there is more support for talking about safety of journalists than there is actual support for fixing the problem. And it's worldwide. So you have more NGOs shouting about safety of journalists than they have capacity even to help address, even when they really want to address. Because nobody is going to support them with funding to address situations like what you are talking about. And I think that is why our idea of the coordinated mechanism on the safety of journalists is very critical at this stage. That all of us need to get together again and agree on certain core principles. What do we do to secure justice in moments like this? But also, how do we address the needs of the victims? When Manasseh's problem came and Manasseh had to go out of town, it took the benevolence of people who believed in his work to say, let us support it. But in that circumstance, it is only because Manasseh may not be talking about his family and how they survived in the moment when he was in that difficulty. All these should teach us lessons about where we are now and the things that we need to do. I strongly think that we need to do things differently, and our activism must move also into addressing the peculiar challenges of the victims.
I will find a special time because I need to engage, particularly maybe you and the Minister of Information, on the coordinated mechanism and how people can be a lot more aware of what exactly is happening there and how they can, avail themselves of that mechanism in preventing these things. But as we speak, before the week ended, then another journalist, CTFM, was also assaulted at the Greater Accra NDC regional office at Satla during a vetting of some parliamentary aspirants. That's for the Ododo Dio. Are you following that as well?
CTFM has already reached out to us on that matter very quickly, and we are working. But there is something, Manasseh, because you bring the Honorable Opon Nkrumah into this, there is something Manasseh said that even though it's not my remit, I think I need to have the courage also to put it on the table. The problem with some of the situation is that when we don't support our allies, then they are caught in the middle. So take somebody like Honorable Opon Nkrumah, genuinely committed to the safety of journalists, genuinely committed to decency in the media. He gets attacks from his colleagues in politics who think that he is exposing them at a moment when they think that he should be speaking for them, but he is committed to principle. So when he doesn't get the support that he needs from us, those people that he considered as allies that he's working for, then we are putting him in a very difficult situation. I can understand our colleagues who have reservations about the environment, but we should also understand that he works within a system. It is the same kind of thing I saw in the Kelekuda matter, where I saw that Honorable Kandapa and the lawyer at the National Security, Obi Dixon, were highly committed to helping resolve the matter and were battling their own colleagues within the national security system. At the same time, they had old operatives who believed in the brutal methods that they had used in the past. So while they were managing this tension within, they were also getting attacks from people who otherwise ought to have been their allies. It seems to me that...
I think with Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah specific, because he has been part of us and gone in there, the GJ and other media people are disappointed about one particular thing. You say there's no justification whatsoever for what happened, correct?
Yes. There's no
in your statement you issued, you didn't have to add anything asking for responsibility on the part of journalists. The media guys are not happy with Kojo because they say consistently he has a comment about media responsibility when he has to talk about the attacks on the media.
We are dealing with very serious things, but sometimes we force a smile. I think there's eternal debate in the profession about the role of irresponsible behavior in exacting these kinds of attacks. And from a pure freedom perspective, we insist that we need to separate the issues. The reason why I would not go at Kojo for this is that, as I have said, we need to understand his context. Okay. And I think that it would be very fair that we admit that context into our analysis of his situation and work with him because he's genuine. Let's work with him because he's committed. But also let me make a statement about the GJA.
Okay, if we can do that in a minute.
Yes, the president has indicated in no uncertain terms that the question about safety is so critical to the GJA now that it is a matter on which they are ready to break alliances. And so, for me, I don't take this seeming disagreement too seriously. I strongly think that we are all pursuing the same objective, and there is opportunity for us to work together to promote the safety of journalists in Ghana.
Okay. Thank you very much. Time just ran out on us, and that was George Sapon, who is the Executive Secretary of the NMC, that's the National Media Commission. Some of us have had the privilege of seeing him outside of the country and how he is held in such high esteem about the media work that he does across the globe, sought after. We can trust that once he's in, the right things will be done. Manasseh, still, I can take a minute comment from you, and then I'll come to my guests. They can say a minute or two, and then we close. Yes, Manasseh.
Samson, I'm also here.
Hey, Bobby, I forgot about Bobby. Forgive me, please. Yes. Bobby, your lawyer, go out. Yes, Manasseh.
Yes, I think all the effort now should be directed to ensuring that the police prosecute these people so that the statement from the Ministry of Information does not only become a PR gimmick of a sort, because we must get to the end of this. If we want to dwell on what is happening, I argue that the fact that you are criticizing Hamas doesn't mean it is wrong to also say that Israel, when you are also attacking, try to look at the humanitarian laws governing wars and others. So we can have a disagreement, but we should be concerned with ensuring that these people who are picked up do not just vanish.
Thank you very much, Manasseh Azura, speaking to us. And I'm coming to you a minute each. I don't know what you can say. Haj Suleiman says, I think journalists became more vulnerable after the murder of Ahmed Swale. Regardless of what the media station may have done, the invasion of their premises was completely unacceptable. This matter has to be dealt with to its logical conclusion to serve as a deterrent to others. I, however, doubt the police will have the courage to do that. Oh, why? Yes.
Something, obviously, not only the invasion of the premises of the media house, but any attack or in any form or shape on any media practitioner is unacceptable. And the party, NPP, has so condemned it. And then we've urged the police to continue with its investigation and prosecution for that matter.
The party as NPP has not been heard condemning its own people. It's just only recently that Alan has got out of this situation. But then we see that he's making a comment about journalists being attacked. What is one of your presidential candidates? What has he not done to journalists? What has he not said? That journalists should be beaten. He wants to beat them up. What have you said to him?
Of the party. You are not taking the condemnation of the party. When the director of communication has issued a formal statement in condemning their act, why?
When people in your party at the very high level have encouraged some of these things,
you think we should not take the condemnation, the position of the party on this matter should not be taken? The party has made a formal position on this matter.
That's clear.
In any case, so that we should accept that.
That's right.
Again, the responsibility of the media itself cannot be swept under the carpet. And I think we need time to discuss this. I've had conversations with a lot of people in the space. Look, the particular act, what A+ did, the media person, the producer, and the host, they equally has a responsibility towards all of us. However, you view it, no matter the wrong, nobody has a right to invade the privacy of anybody, so to say, to the extent that you attack them. Nobody.
So the party says it will punish these people, right?
The party does not punish in criminal matters of this nature.
No. Please. As in, every party has its way of punishing its people.
But what is the punishment of the party? The party can suspend you. Mm-hmm. It is not.
Do you expect some of these things to happen?
Of course, if they are identified to a constituency and polling station.
They have been identified.
I don't know that.
They have. They have been identified. Yeah.
The party can suspend them. Would the media be happy after a party suspending them? No. I think the right thing is the police investigation, and the police acted swiftly. And I'm happy that they've collaborated the story of the information minister reporting the matter to the police.
I think that has not been in doubt.
Yes, I mean, some people were doubting. So it shouldn't nail the party for some members of the party. It's not the party that sanctioned it, but their sympathizers and members.
What will you also say?
Something I think there's no justification, for that.
Coming on the back of the fact that just yesterday, some of your party people also.
And I think
see what they were doing, destroying, property.
We should condemn any violence, any such acts anywhere, wherever it's coming from. And there's no justification for this. I mean, in a democratic society that we live in, and from what we have seen in the past, going in this direction is not going to be helpful to us in the future. And I think that, let's see what the police come up with. And let's hope that at least, as the one of your people who send messages said, this should be done in a way that will serve as a deterrent for anyone or any group of people.
Okay, thank you very much.